We're following this developing news. Long Beach police responding to the newly opened Marathon Burger in Long Beach. News Chopper 4 was up over the downtown area earlier today, where we saw several police vehicles outside of the restaurant. Right there, you could see them. Police tape stretching across the parking lots as well as into some apartments. Today was the grand opening of that new Marathon Burger location. Plenty of...
One man dead, several civilians shot, and the target wasn't random. The Opps pulled up hunting for Blacc Sam at what was supposed to be a family celebration. This wasn't just another headline about violence in California. This was the second time blood had been spilled at a Marathon Burger location. And what really happened that day reveals something far deeper than a shootout. It exposes how dangerous it can be to build something positive in a place still controlled by street politics. Marathon Burger was never just about food. When Nip first imagined it, the vision was bigger than burgers and fries. It was about ownership, economic power, keeping money in the neighborhood instead of watching it disappear into corporations that never reinvest in the community. He believed in building from the ground up, creating jobs for his own people, and proving that growth was possible without leaving the hood behind. After Nip's passing, Blacc Sam carried that blueprint forward. And at first, it worked. The original Marathon Burger location in LA wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. It stood as proof that the vision was real. But success in certain neighborhoods doesn't just attract customers, it attracts attention. And sometimes that attention comes with deadly consequences. The Crenshaw location was drawing crowds, creating jobs for the community, and proving that positive business ventures could succeed in areas outsiders had counted out. People showed up not just for the food, but to stand behind what Nippy stood for. They wanted to be part of something greater than just another restaurant. The LA opening faced real obstacles, but the community stood strong around it. You had celebrities showing support. You had local families turning it into a regular stop. You had young people gaining employment instead of falling into trouble. It showed that Nip's vision could succeed, that economic growth was possible even in places long overlooked by traditional businesses. But this is where it becomes complex. When you're building in certain neighborhoods, especially with that level of recognition, you're not only dealing with customers, you're navigating politics, territorial tensions, and people who view your rise as either a challenge or an opening. Success in the hood carries pressure, and not everyone wants to see you win. Blacc Sam chose to expand into Long Beach, and that's when the situation grew tense. Long Beach has its own street landscape, its own politics, its own history of territorial conflicts stretching back decades. Bringing a high-profile business into that setting places you directly in the spotlight, whether you intend to be or not. You're no longer just a business owner. You're a symbol, a statement, and unfortunately, sometimes a focus of unwanted attention. Now, to truly understand the situation, you have to realize this wasn't even the first incident at a Marathon Burger location. There was already tension building. Prior situations that showed these businesses were becoming magnets for both strong community support and unwanted attention. But Blacc Sam stayed committed to the vision, committed to serving the community his brother believed in, even understanding the risks involved. The decision to open in Long Beach wasn't made lightly. This was about expanding economic opportunity, about proving the Marathon brand could succeed across multiple communities, about showing that Nip's vision wasn't limited to one neighborhood. But with that growth came exposure to new challenges, new territorial tensions, new groups who might not respect what you're trying to create. The issues began before the doors even opened. Long Beach has long-established street territories that have existed for decades, including the 80s, one of the most active groups in the area. They have ongoing disputes with multiple other crews. These aren't simple neighborhood disagreements. These are deep-rooted conflicts that span generations where disrespect can spark serious consequences, where being in the wrong place can put you in real danger. When you announce a grand opening with celebrities, with millionaires, with community leaders gathered in one place, it becomes a magnet for people who feel they have something to prove. Street affiliates may view celebrity events as opportunities, chances to be noticed, to send messages, to confront rivals when they least expect it. According to multiple witnesses who were present that day, there was a young man from the 80s who arrived alone at the grand opening. Now, that's unusual behavior. You don't step into rival territory by yourself, unless you're either reckless or you have a purpose in mind. This guy starts openly taunting his rivals right in the middle of the Marathon Burger opening. We're talking about a family event with Snoop Dogg and YG in attendance. And he's flashing signs, making disrespectful remarks about opposing sets, really testing limits in a way that couldn't be ignored. The disrespect wasn't subtle either. According to sources who witnessed it, this 80s member was calling out specific rivals by name, issuing warnings, acting like he controlled the space. He did all this surrounded by dozens of opponents, an event meant to represent unity and positive change. The level of provocation was so obvious it couldn't just be brushed aside without some kind of response. But that's not even the shocking part. While he's out there provoking rivals, and many of them are present at the event, they begin approaching Blacc Sam. They're not trying to disrupt the opening, not trying to damage what Nip's brother is building, but they're telling him this situation needs to be handled before it escalates. They're showing respect for the event, respect for the family, yet making it clear that this kind of behavior can't continue without consequences. The conversation between the rivals and Blacc Sam was reportedly calm but urgent. They explained the situation, clarified who the individual was, and what kind of tension his actions were creating. They made it known that if Blacc Sam didn't step in, they would feel forced to respond themselves. And that could turn into chaos at a family gathering. Here's where it intensifies. While these discussions are happening, 3 more 80s members arrive at the scene. Now you've got 4 80s surrounded by probably 100 rivals at an event meant to symbolize community and growth. The newly arrived members don't fully realize their friend had already been inside stirring up tension. They see their people surrounded by rivals and immediately assume the worst. The rivals tell Blacc Sam directly, "Listen, he has to leave," and Blacc Sam is trying to keep order, try and protect the integrity of the event while recognizing the seriousness of the situation. He's stuck between wanting to welcome everyone and needing to prevent chaos at his brother's legacy gathering. So he agrees and says he'll personally help escort the 80s members off the property safely. This was Blacc Sam attempting to handle things responsibly. He didn't want to sword at the event, but he also didn't want to leave the 80s members vulnerable on his grounds. He was searching for a solution that respected everyone involved while keeping the family celebration calm. On that day, Long Beach was meant to highlight something positive. Marathon Burger's grand opening brought out celebrities, community leaders, and families with children. It reflected everything Nippy talked about when he spoke on economic empowerment and bringing strong businesses to underserved neighborhoods. Kids were receiving free meals. Local leaders were speaking about economic growth. The energy was supposed to center around hope and progress. But when Blacc Sam and his team began escorting those 4 80s members off the property, none of them realized they were stepping into a dangerous situation that would later appear on multiple cameras and live streams. According to eyewitnesses at the scene, Blacc Sam was clear from the start. He approached the 4 80s members respectfully and told them, "I appreciate y'all coming. I respect the support for what we're building here, but tensions are high right now. Y'all have to head out, and we're going to make sure you leave safely." Now, to truly understand the situation, you have to realize this wasn't even the first incident at a Marathon Burger location. There was already tension building. Prior situations that showed these businesses were becoming magnets for both strong community support and unwanted attention. But Blacc Sam stayed committed to the vision, committed to serving the community his brother believed in, even understanding the risks involved. The decision to open in Long Beach wasn't made lightly. This was about expanding economic opportunity, about proving the Marathon brand could succeed across multiple communities, about showing that Nip's vision wasn't limited to one neighborhood. But with that growth came exposure to new challenges, new territorial tensions, new groups who might not respect what you're trying to create. The issues began before the doors even opened. Long Beach has long established street territories that have existed for decades, including the 80s, one of the most active groups in the area. They have ongoing disputes with multiple other crews. These aren't simple neighborhood disagreements. These are deep-rooted conflicts that span generations where disrespect can spark serious consequences, where being in the wrong place can put you in real danger. When you announce a grand opening with celebrities, with millionaires, with community leaders gathered in one place, it becomes a magnet for people who feel they have something to prove. Street affiliates may view celebrity events as opportunities, chances to be noticed, to send messages, to confront rivals when they least expect it. According to multiple witnesses who were present that day, there was a young man from the 80s who arrived alone at the grand opening. Now, that's unusual behavior. You don't step into rival territory by yourself unless you're either reckless or you have a purpose in mind.
A day of celebration turns into chaos. Gunfire erupts at a packed block party.
Where did y'all park? We'll make sure you get to your cars without any issues. The 80s members agreed to leave because they trusted Blacc Sam would see them out safely. They believed they were being given secure passage off the property and back to their vehicles. But what they didn't fully grasp was that Blacc Sam wasn't stepping into Long Beach street politics beyond removing them from Marathon Burger grounds. His duty was to his business, his family, and his brother's legacy, not to mediate ongoing rivalries, and so they walked with Blacc Sam and several of his team members, who were providing what seemed like a safe escort toward the parking area. The distance from the restaurant entrance to the edge of the property wasn't far, but was enough time for tensions to rise, for rivals to gather, for the atmosphere to grow more volatile. When they reached the edge of the Marathon Burger premises, Blacc Sam stopped. He told the 80s members, "This is as far as we can go. We're not stepping into Long Beach politics. From here, it's on y'all." That was him drawing a firm boundary. He guided them off his property, but he wasn't about to escort them through rival territory or insert himself into conflicts unrelated to his business. The moment Blacc Sam and his team stepped back, the rivals rushed forward. It was 4 individuals facing what witnesses described as nearly 100 people. It wasn't balanced. They were overwhelmed, pushed around, struck from multiple directions. The rivals had been waiting for that moment, responding to what they saw as open disrespect inside the restaurant. But then the young 80s member who had stirred everything up earlier, the one whose words sparked attention, pulled out a weapon and fired in an attempt to clear space for his group. That's when the situation shifted from a physical clash to something far more dangerous. Once shots are fired in a crowd of hundreds, innocent bystanders are suddenly at risk. And that's where the real tragedy of these conflicts often begins. They move like once they get a weapon, nobody else could possibly have one. They act like pulling it out is going to end the problem, when in reality, it only makes everything spiral. In these situations, plenty of people are armed, and the second one person fires, the entire scene can turn into a battlefield. So when that 80s member started shooting, rivals pulled out their own weapons and fired back. Now you got multiple people shooting in different directions, civilians scrambling for safety, families ducking behind cars, pure chaos exploding in a parking lot that minutes earlier was filled with people celebrating a positive community business. The footage from that day shows the aftermath, and it's hard to watch. You see Blacc Sam running for cover alongside someone who had been hit in the leg. You hear Barry Gordon telling officers, "I think I got hit," still trying to process what just happened. Civilians are crouched behind vehicles. People are yelling for help. Blood stains the pavement where children have been playing just moments before. 2 of the rivals were struck during the exchange, but they survived. Injuries to the legs and minor wounds, nothing life-threatening. They were taken to hospital and later recovered. But the young 80s member who sparked the confrontation with his earlier behavior didn't survive. He passed away at the scene. And what made it even more unsettling was that parts that were captured on livestream, with comments scrolling by like, "Keep gifting," and "Thanks for the donations," while life was slipping away. The most disturbing part of that footage is hearing someone encourage viewers to keep sending gifts while a young man lies critically injured. It highlights how numb people have become to real-world tragedy. How social media can turn devastating moments into content. How attention and profit can overshadow basic human empathy in the middle of crisis. The shooting happened so close to the Marathon Burger entrance that much of the crowd was still within range when it unfolded. Several civilians were struck. These were people who showed up to support a positive community business. Families who believed they were attending a safe celebration. Individuals with no connection to street disputes who were suddenly caught in the middle of it all. The investigation that followed revealed just how layered the situation was and raised serious concerns about community safety and business growth in certain areas. Long Beach police responded quickly with multiple units. Paramedics moved in to treat the injured, while KMBC News chopper 4 hovered overhead capturing the aftermath. Police tape stretched across parking lots, several sections marked as crime scenes, ambulances transporting the wounded to nearby hospitals. Because the incident happened in such a crowded space, the scene was extensive. Officers had to interview hundreds of witnesses, gather evidence from different points, and reconstruct the sequence of events to determine responsibility. Many witnesses hesitated to cooperate fully, worried about potential street repercussions for speaking with authorities in the immediate aftermath. Celebrities, business leaders, and community figures were left shaken by what they had just seen. Snoop Dogg, who attended to honor Nippy's legacy, found himself witnessing gunfire at what was meant to celebrate positive progress. Big Boy, known for promoting local businesses on his radio platform, saw firsthand why some investors hesitate to build in certain neighborhoods. And YG, who grew up in similar environments, was reminded how quickly forward momentum